Hello, I am Nefur and I'm hosting the Glacier Song podcast. I create unique music using the sounds of Icelandic glaciers and my voice as the only instruments. I explore deep listening and embodied connection with nature. I use my sexual energy as my creative power and compass to build a life of freedom and meaningful connection with all life forms. Welcome to the journey of the Glacier's song. Today, I'm very happy to be with Marcela Fernández from Cumbres Blancas. That is a movement that she started in Colombia a few years ago, and now it's becoming like a global movement with other countries joining the cause in Latin America and also in other places in the world with Glacier Nation. And I contacted with her with the context of the International Year for Glacier Preservation. And yeah, I feel there's a lot of connection between the approach that we have with glaciers and how we want to approach in a way that people can feel connected to glaciers in felt and embodied ways. That is not just about the facts, but it's about creating experiences for people because we might be the last generations that can have experiences with glaciers.
Yes, so I'm Marcela. Lovely to meet you. And I think the beautiful thing about this podcast is that glaciers are always the guests, and uh, and this is beautiful to understand that what we really need to do in our life, in our generation, in our society, is give glaciers the place that they deserve. They are the source of water. They are the origin of life. They are for the indigenous communities in many places around the world. The gods and the cosmovision of the origins starts with the most sacred element, which is water. But what snow really is crystals. So they are the quartzes of the planet, and the combination of these small particles of information is what creates the water that we drink. And it is for me incredible to go back in time and ask when did we lose this connection with the sacred ice, no? And this is the moment for us to give them the place that they deserve, knowing that they are disappearing, that they are in agony, that they are melting for us. It is the most uh, it is the biggest act of love. They are disappearing and vanishing for us to wake up, but also for us to keep living. So I think it's a matter of action and awareness and ignorance. I didn't know my country had glaciers. And that's how the movement started. So hopefully, this space, this podcast, this moment is going to bring awareness to the hearts of many people that will realize that glaciers are magical and maybe asking ourselves these questions. Do you know if your country has glaciers?
There's lots of beautiful ideas in there, and I like a lot this last question that you gave because it's something I had to ask myself a few weeks ago when I started talking to you. And I've been working with the glaciers in Iceland. I was some years ago living in the UK, and I had this dream that I was singing with glaciers, and I just immediately thought of going to meet the glaciers in Iceland, but I never wondered and I never heard about glaciers in Spain. And when we started the conversation with you, you mentioned, wanting to do something in Spain. And I was like, but wait, are there glaciers in Spain? Yeah, for real. And I realized that yes, in the Pyrenees, we have Aneto, we have Monte Perdido, which, by the way, reading more about it, they have been declared like terminal, and it's like about maybe 10 years more for this glacier to be alive. And I think another interesting question is like, yeah, when or how did we lose this connection to these beings that are so sacred, so ancestral, as you were saying, and that for many indigenous communities they were also the gods, and having this place of honor and veneration, right? And you know you said is the most sacred element, water. And I feel many people have connection with the ocean, with rivers. But I don't know that many people that have connection with glaciers, even though, as we saying, there are 50 countries that have them. So it's not that rare, and they are these guardians of the water, no? And it holds these memories from ancestral times. So there is a question of what can we do to don't feel separate from the glaciers, because it feels like they've been forgotten, even for people who connect with water strongly. Glaciers are somewhere out of the radar, it feels almost like. So for me, it's very important that for the occasion of the International Year for Glacier Preservation, we don't only talk about the facts or, okay, they are going to disappear, they're providing this amount of water, the sea level rise, because this can be sometimes called facts. And I feel going beyond this and creating experiences. And even it's not like for the ocean, maybe, you go every week to the ocean if it's near you. Maybe for a glacier, if you have once in a lifetime, a powerful experience with a glacier, that's going to touch you in a deep way, and that's enough. No, but how to create these spaces for connection with glaciers is very important also, because we might be the last generation to have these experiences. So I'd like to hear how from Cumbres Blancas you are approaching this.
Yes, I think that it is important to see and learn how can we take action. Yes, and we can take action starting from our habits, starting from the boat, the people that we boat. Every decision that we make, it's a decision that is making the glaciers disappear faster or stay with us a little longer. So when you think about decision makers, corporations or politicians, if they would have glaciers in the center of their heart, in the center of the decision making, it would be different, right? And but still, glaciers, as you say, are far from us, and that happens because they are sometimes remote, hard to access, and but still there are many sports that depends on snow, but no, there's not even the knowledge about the difference of a mountain with snow where you can ski or snowboard and a glacier that is the archives of the planet, the memories of humankind, the libraries. And it's like, yeah, we all know of Alexandria, no? The library that got fire, and this is our Alexandria. The glaciers are what is happening. The biggest temples and the cathedrals of humanity um, are slowly disappearing. Some of them not that slow. And I think that I agree with you. The fact that it's the International Year of Glacier Preservation is something positive because we're gonna start talking about them. But when you talk too much, when you teach and say facts too much, you can create more anxiety than what already is out there. In Spanish, we call this like amarillismo. Is this when I grew up in Colombia and we grew up waking up with the news of people death in different parts of the country or the car bomb, or and that created fear, and the separation there was, what can I do? I have this privilege, nothing is happening to me. So the invitation is Glacier Nation, the movement, the collective, inviting everyone who really wants to take action from their talents, their gifts, their capacities, their abilities, and their time. You don't need to quit your job to protect glaciers. You can keep doing what you do with a collective, a movement of a multidisciplinary team of people that met. When we started Cumbres Blancas, as I said, I didn't know Colombia had glaciers, and many people around me also didn't know. So I thought that that was the best opportunity to bring awareness, and I started finding those people that could teach us. So photographers, storytellers, of course, the science, which is the vertebral spine of the project, those the glaciologists and the biologists and the mountaineers and the indigenous communities. And what you realize is that there's lack of communication between these. There is not a common conversation. We're not aiming towards the same goal, which is awareness and protection and creativity and innovation. So when you gather as a human group of people with no more interest than talking about the glaciers and allowing yourselves to hear what they have to say through our ideas, through creativity. That's why it's so important what you do, and that's why we believe that honoring them has to be done through different formats. So, pilgrimage, book, documentaries, art, expositions, exhibitions, but especially getting to know each other. For me, what glaciers are really trying to tell us is, what are you waiting to join forces and collaborate and leverage this creativity in the strategy, let's say, that we are bringing to the world, is that it starts in each country. So India, Tibet, Bhutan, Pakistan, Iran, Spain, Bolivia, Peru, the countries that have glaciers find each other, create this team, and this team with the global team of Glacier Nation can really lift up the conversation and be a little bit more ambitious than just talking about what is happening to them, which is important. But this knowledge, we need to transform it into actions.
Yes, 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 yes. It feels very motivational and inspirational, all that he's saying, because as you say, it's not just about talking, it's about making things happen, bringing people together and bringing people with glaciers together, no? And I feel now it's time for I don't know if it's time for saving the glaciers, if we are late or not for this, but it's definitely time for legacy. What are we bringing also to the future generations? What, as the generation that is in this very specific time of being able to connect again with the glacier, being able to um, have a relationship, to build a connection. What are we gonna bring to the next generations as well? How are we gonna be good ancestors? So that's something that is also very, very important for me, and in the way that I approach my work with glaciers. And I liked to hear that you are, and I saw also on your website, like you already have a book. There's the walks to the glaciers, there's exhibitions, there's different activities, and how all of this can bring transformational experiences and can bring people close to nature in a way that we become close to ourselves, because we are nature. And it's this epiphany, and it's this connection that we make, that, as you say, then it affects every decision you make that might make the glaciers last longer. So yeah, how do you connect with the ideas of what are we bringing, not only in the present but also for the future?
Yes, I think that one of the main initiatives that we realized we wanted to pursue was start working on the ecosystems below the glaciers. What are the other sources of water? Which are the plants and the soil, and yeah, and the ecosystem that is usually below the glacier, uh, but not necessarily that creates the water that we are not going to have, that comes from the glaciers, right? So we started working on restoring the páramo. A páramo is the ecosystem in Colombia that only exists in few countries, or actually 5 countries in the world. And there's only 3 countries, Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela, that have this endemic and very, very special plant called frailejón. In the scientific name is called Espeletia. Here we can see it. This is my totem. It's a little piece of art, and it represents that the true gold is water, because this páramo, this ecosystem, has been affected by many threats. One of them is mining, but there's also cattle farming, agriculture, and fires. And most of these fires are provoked by humans. So we realize that the snow of the future uh, is in these ecosystems. These ecosystems create not only rivers, but they also create the fog that will eventually become the food for the glacier. So the fog is the solid precipitation, but what's happening is that it's so warm up there that it's not transforming into solid, but it's raining. And rain, when rain, like, it's on top of the glacier, it's accelerating even the melting. But because the phenomenon that usually would happen is it would be snow. So we are working on restoring these ecosystems, creating nurseries and greenhouses of endemic plants, plants of this ecosystem. And the invitation is that each glacier nation, each movement in each country can find the equivalent of these plants and uh, do the same, restore this ecosystem, find the organizations or the experts that not only talk about the glaciers, but that talk about the water that these high mountains ecosystems create. Uh, so I think this is something. This is one of the biggest insights that we have learned, and it also created for us like a business model, no? Because it is easier to work with a model that you are able to sustain yourself and do partnerships with other companies or initiatives or universities that are also interested in this topic.
Of course, and I think that's probably one of the reasons, no, for your success of Cumbres Blancas, that you've been able to do these projects with partners, and that has become, as you say, also like a business model that is a way of becoming part of, understanding the world we're in, that we also need this sustaining of ourselves, but also like doing it in a way that is coherent, and doing it in a way that gives return again to the nature and to the glaciers, and that is making a positive action. But it looks like this approach is very, yeah, it has a lot of advantages, and it has been able to really grow from there, and that's something that has to be celebrated, I think. And looking forward also to see what the next steps are. And talking about next steps, I'd like to talk to our audience to one activity, one event that we will do together soon. In March next month, it will be the first World Day of Glaciers, the 21st of March. And in order to honor that, and in order to open a door for people to connect with glaciers as living beings, as these guardians of water and life in this planet Earth, we are going to open a Global Glacier Sound Meditation online. This is going to happen the 22nd of March. You will have the registration link on the description of the episode, and it will be for free, and we'll have the time zones, and everyone can join. And what we will have in this event is myself, Nefur, will be inviting you to connect with a glacier. If you want to start the research now, you can look what are these 50 countries that have glaciers. As we were saying, like maybe check if your country has glaciers, see what's around you, and see what you can connect to. There's also the Global Glacier Casualty List that lists all these glaciers that are endangered at the moment. So we will invite you to connect with one of these glaciers, and I will offer a sound journey in which I sing with the sounds of glaciers that I recorded in Iceland in the past years. Listening and singing with glaciers has been very much of a transformational experience for me, and I want to open this to as many people as possible to experience the connection through their vibrations, through their sounds, and in combination with a singing voice that can connect with them, that can sing with them, and that can have and channel this dialogue with them, that can be listened by everyone who is open and ready to listen, and that is open to receive the glaciers in their hearts. And I think this is something, and we think also with Marcela, that this is something important for this year, in this moment of the International Year for Glacier Preservation. It's the moment to have experiences, it's the moment to build relationships with glaciers, it's the moment to know them, because yeah, it's a possibility open for a generation and not many more. So we are the ones who are called to really build this bridge again and bring a different future, or try to do our best to bring a different future. So, Marcela, I'm looking forward to this event, the 22nd of March, to have you there, and in a way that we can connect together to the glaciers from this experience with sound. Are you excited about it?
Yes, of course. I think it's a beautiful example of how can we take action with our gifts and talents. And definitely they will receive this meditation, and they will receive this healing. We can also send healing from wherever we are, and it starts with us. We talk about the Kero Nation always talk about how these glaciers are melting 7,000 years before they should disappear. And what they invite us to understand is that we need to melt emotions. There are frozen feelings in this humanity that only glaciers can melt. And this is why it is so strong in the frequency of what is happening, because also water speaks. So they are literally trying to speak to us. And these are ways in which we can listen to them. And hopefully one day, the sound healing meditation, it's also a tour around the world with different artists that are talking with glaciers and for the glaciers. So it starts with small steps, small dreams that can one day be inspirational. And also this is an invitation for those who are called to maybe collaborate. If you're artists or you would like to support this idea, join us. And of course, if you learn that your country had glaciers and you would like to be part of Glacier Nation in your own country, you can join an existing one or you can create your own, and we will help you doing that. And well, thank you so much for this wonderful time. I think uh, it's something that is needed, having these conversations in the name of glaciers.
Yes, so all the invitations to all the artists, individuals, curious minds that want to join forces for glaciers. This is open to everyone, and yeah, we'll see what the next chapters of Glacier Nation will take place and will open. And yeah, I love just to finish this thought of water speaking, and this thought of water or ice being frozen emotions. I truly believe in that. Water is the element of emotions. And I love to see it, the melting of glaciers, as Marcela has mentioned, of this invitation for humans to really connect back to our emotions, really connect back to our hearts. It's a healing that we do for ourselves, and everything is connected. So if we do it for ourselves, we also do it for the glaciers. We also do it for the planet, as a piece of this planet. So if you are open, if you are ready to listen to emotions, to listen to water, to connect with the messages of ice, the messages of glaciers, to speak with them, to listen with them, we really invite you to join the Global Glacier Meditation on the 22nd of March. That will be, by the way, World Day of Water. After the World Day of Glacier, that will be the previous day. So thank you so much, Marcela. This has been amazing, very inspirational to see how your whole cosmovision for Cumbres Blancas has this very solid foundation in all aspects, like business aspect, like spiritual aspect, like consciousness aspect. Like, I think is very well tied together, and I'm very happy to have talked to you.
Thank you so much and see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.